All right, advent of code. Hopefully I got my streaming set up correctly. Maybe I didn't. Um, and this is live. So they're going to give us a problem in a minute. It's 2020. It's been like a year since I did this. And throughout COVID, I've kind of made my bedtime early and earlier. And recently I've been going to bed around 9 p.m. and now it's around 9 p.m. So I'm tired. So it will be a little bit interesting, but hopefully it goes well. Every year I'm a slightly better developer than I was the year before, and every year I'm a little bit better at Python, I think, than I was the year before. So hopefully uh, that means things will go well. And if they don't, they don't. Sometimes they don't, but I've got things kind of set up, and we're gonna have fun. If you're watching this, I don't even know if anyone's watching this, but 4, 3, 2, 1, and let's see what the theme is this year. After saving Christmas 5 years in a row, you decided to take a vacation at a nice resort on a tropical island. Surely Christmas was gone without you. Tropical Island has its own currency, is cash only. The gold coins use there have a little picture of starfish. They just call them stars. None of them have heard of them, but you need to find 50, blah, blah, blah. Find stars. Collect stars by solving puzzles. 2 puzzles will be available each day. This is just blah, blah, blah. Before you leave the Ellison account, you need to fix your expense report, your puzzle input. Apparently something isn't quite adding up. Specifically, they need you to find the 2 entries that sum to 2020 and then multiply those 2 numbers together. For example, suppose your expense report contained the following. In this list, the 2 entries that sum to 2020 are 1721 and 299. Multiplying them together produces 1721 times 299, so the correct answer is this. Of course, your expense report is much larger. Find the 2 entries that sum to 2020. And this is, I don't think my internet is slow. I think probably the site is slow. So anyway, let us go to inputs and create a new file, day01.text. Ooh, that's not good. 502 bad gateway. I wonder if that's part of the challenge. It's probably not the challenge. Well, regardless, while they fix that, we will work on the problem itself. So let's say input equals, so here's a bunch, and so we'll want to say find product, this is the text, I want the Python. Find product input is going to be a list of int, and that's going to give me an int. So from typing import list. And so now this is a common interview question, which is, find the 2 elements that add up to, what do I want to add them up to? 2020. And return their product. Okay, and so what I want to do is I want to say what do I need? So needs equals 2020 minus I for I in inputs. Why is this? And then what I can do is just do in linear time for I in inputs. If I in needs, return I times 2020 minus I. And let's assert that find product of these inputs is, and what did they say? 514579. So let's see if that works. Why have I said I've been writing in Python. Have I? Okay, that worked. I don't know why this is. Anyway, let's go and try to gateway timeout. Service temporarily available. Okay, well that's interesting. Okay, so let's go to Advent of Code Reddit and see if other people are having the same problems. They are not having the same problems. Only I'm having these problems. So let's try this once again. Service temporarily unavailable. All right. Well, that is it's a little bit of a nuisance. Let's see if so that works. Service temporarily unavailable. All right. Well, let's go to Twitter. Advent of code unavailable. Let's see if anyone on Twitter is complaining about this. Advent of code. Unavailable, unavailable, blew up, unavailable, unavailable, unavailable. I think all of us clicking it, unavailable. All right. Seems like everyone else is having the same problem that we are. And so it's this thing where part of me thinks I should refresh it, and part of me thinks that I should give it time to recover. So anyway, like I said, this is a common interview problem. And so I'll just talk about that while I wait for that thing to come back. So the idea is we want to find the two things that add up to 2020. And so naively, you can do that by comparing every pair of elements, which is like quadratic in length of elements. So if you have like 100 elements, you're doing 100 squared comparisons. And so the trick, and actually a place I worked, they used to use this as a variation of this as an interview question. I hated it as an interview question. I think it's a dumb interview question because it's basically the trick or you don't. Is that what you can do is if you store all these numbers in a set, say, you can go through and say, given given each number, I know what I would need to add to get to 2020. I can just do a fast check for set membership. So I did sort of in a different direction, which is I said for each input, what is the delta I would need to see in order to get to 2020? So 2020 minus I for each of the inputs, and then it's linear time to construct that set of needs, and then I just go over each of the inputs, and for each input I do a O of 1 check. Is this in this set that I already did? And if it is, then I know that it plus 2020 minus it is equals 2020, and both are in the set, so I can do that. I don't know why this is underlined. That's irritating. Hey, what do you know? Good. Okay, so let's put this in day1.text, and now let's say if name equals main with open inputs day01.text as f, inputs equals let's say int line.strip for line in f, and I can just print find product of inputs. Actually, I won't even do this. I'll just do that. I use a Mac during the day, so my keyboard, I'm not used to it. So that says that this is this. So let's go back to Advent of code, and no, that's not. I have a lot of problems switching back and forth between the Mac, so this is Control Shift C to copy and then Control V, submit, and that's the right answer. Continue to part 2. Elves are thankful. One of them even offers you a starfish coin. They offer you a second one if you can find 3 numbers that meet the same criteria. Using the same example again, the 3 entries that sum to 2020 are that, that, and that. What is the product of the 3 entries that sum to 2020? Okay, so again, we can basically do the same thing. So now it would be naively cubic to do. So we can so here's what I can do is basically say needs equals 2020 minus I minus j for I in inputs, because for this one the input list is not that big, and so quadratic is fine, but cubic would probably be nasty. And I need to say if I is not equal to j, and now again I can do if I in needs return I times actually let me do this slightly differently, which is I'm going to say that for this I will store I and j. If I in needs, let's say j comma k equal needs I, and then return I times j times k. So instead of doing a set, I'll do a dictionary where so I can retrieve I and j by the needs. And now I can assert that find product 3 of, and let's look at their example, in the above of the inputs is this. Of inputs equals this. So let me just run that, and that seems to work. So now let's go back and print find product 3 of the inputs, and now let's run that, and it gives me a number, and let's copy it, and now let's paste it, and let's submit it, and that's the right answer, and we are 1 gold star closer to saving our vacation. So that was pretty easy and pretty reasonable, and other than the computer errors that didn't want to let me download my stuff, but that's cool. Good, so we're done. I will push this to GitHub. I will upload this to YouTube, and maybe I will do it again tomorrow. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.